Thanks for stopping on in for today's college basketball pick video play for December 28th, 2017. To get all of our college basketball plays for today's action, you can get those over at stumpthespread.com, linked down in the video description, and be sure to click that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Coming into this one, going to be talking about this WCC matchup here between Pacific and Gonzaga. Give our take on who we feel has the better edge against the spread right now. The home team, Gonzaga, sitting at about 22-point favorites here. The road team, the Pacific Tigers, coming into this one 5-8 overall against up and down level of competition during the non-conference. Pacific currently riding a 4-game losing streak, and the Tigers looked just awful in their last outing, which came on the road against a very good Arizona State group, losing that one by a final of 65-104. This is far and away from where the Tigers had looked in their previous outing, which was just a 5-point loss against what's been a pretty decent UNLV squad. Also, during this 4-game losing streak, the Tigers have a 4-point loss on the road against UC Davis, as well as a 14-point loss on the road against Wyoming. The Tigers, they haven't really stood out in any one particular facet of the game. The Tigers, they're 184th in the nation in scoring average, 259th in total team defense. They have a negative plus-minus of about -1.5 points. And the fact that this group ranks 259th in the nation in defense is certainly a concern coming into this one on the road against Gonzaga, given the Bulldogs have a great home court advantage, and of course the fact that Gonzaga has been putting up some very strong offensive numbers this year. So Gonzaga, they've been pretty steady through the non-conference, 10-3 overall. Their defeats coming against teams like San Diego State on the road, Villanova, as well as Florida. So not bad losses by any means, but the Gonzaga Bulldogs, they're probably going to have a hard time working their way back up into the upper tier of the top 25 poll, given the fact that over the next couple months of action, they're going to be going into the WCC, which doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of high-caliber opponents that the Bulldogs would be able to rack up some resume wins against. There are some decent teams in the WCC like BYU, St. Mary's, and also teams like San Diego as well as San Francisco have looked pretty decent at times through the non-conference, but obviously Gonzaga not presented with the same kind of opportunities to rack up resume-building wins during their conference slate, so they have to schedule very tough non-conference to get those opportunities, and thus far, the Bulldogs, they've been able to pick up some decent wins against teams like Utah State, Ohio State, Texas, Creighton, as well as Washington. So those are some pretty decent wins here for the Bulldogs. And this group, they've shown that they can win in blowout fashion at home. Their last outing at home, they beat IUPUI by a final of 101-71. And offensively, Gonzaga has been very strong this year, 8th in the nation in scoring, putting up over 90 points per game. In comparison to their defense, which hasn't been quite as good, 233rd in the nation in total team defense. But part of that also just has to do with the fact that the Bulldogs have gone against a tough slate, and they've gone against some very good offensive opponents. So you're just going to give up higher scoring numbers, like in their game against Florida, giving up 111 points, for instance. But then they went against a really good offensive team like Creighton, only gave up 74 points. So when they are able to ratchet things up on the defensive side of the ball, they have shown that they can be pretty solid even against quality opposition. So coming to this one, Pacific, they haven't looked great, especially recently, and that last outing, the blowout loss against Arizona State, doesn't leave a good taste in the mouth. And then you compare that over to Gonzaga, who they did come up short in their last outing against San Diego State, but a team that has shown that they can blow out lower-tier competition at home, and we figured that to be the fact again here today. So we're going to go ahead, side with the home team, taking Gonzaga, giving the 22 points. If you guys agree with this pick video play, give the video a thumbs up. If you disagree, give it a thumbs down. Check out all of our college basketball plays over at stumpthespread.com, linked down in the video description, and be sure to click that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping on in. We hope to see you guys in future videos. Bye.